Y'all, I have to take a deep breath because I'm so excited to chat with today's guest on the PK Pod. You know, the PK Pod is a podcast that highlights extraordinary PKs, CKs, all of the church kids. And what we believe in most is that we all have platforms, but they may not be the pulpit. And I'm so excited because today's guest has a platform and a resume that is Emmy Award winning. She literally is a writer, an actress, a comedian, and she is literally childhood family.
Yeah, this is a family
For me,
reunion.
to me, this is a family reunion happening live on the PK Pod. Y'all make some noise for the beautiful, talented Ashley Black.
I'm so excited to be here.
So excited. Ashley, where has the time gone?
Truly. It's so crazy.
Like what? Like our fathers preaching revival for one another at each other's churches to planning for you and Lamar to get married some kind of way through an arranged marriage.
They really
Like
that.
as kids, when y'all are like, what? They really tried hard. They were like, the Blacks and the Edwards has to stick together. And I'm so glad that we get to live to tell the story that we have and we love each other. And I get to talk to you now on my podcast and talk about all of the things you're doing and flourishing in. So let's jump into it, okay? Because we have lots to talk about. So let's start from the beginning. Our pastors, our pastor dads, getting the call to preach and pastor, and we being voluntold that, you know, this is what the family business is. So what was it like growing up as a PK?
Well, so when my grandfather was also a pastor, right? So when we were littler, our grandfather was our pastor and our dad would be on the road traveling, doing revivals, whatever. So that was our normal. Like that to me was just like a normal childhood. And I remember one time, a friend of my mom's, her husband was going to start working out of town. And she was like, will you share, with my daughter what it's like missing your dad? And I was like, no, this is normal. Like this is just what I thought dads did. And then when I was a teenager, that was when my grandfather retired and my dad transitioned to pastoring the church. And weirdly, even though it was the same church, everything was the same, becoming the first family, even though we were the grandkids of the pastor, it was like such a transition to now your entire life revolves around the church versus going to church on Sunday.
Wow. Life revolving around church is a trauma that we need therapy for for the rest of our days, because I don't think a lot of people realize that in itself is so demanding of our time and what we had to trade off. Like, okay, if you come to Vacation Bible School, then I will, get you your favorite candy. Like, I don't think they understand the compromises and the negotiation to just want to be regular, How was
Also,
it for
the
you, though?
crazy
Did you feel like that?
Yeah, well, when I was little, I mean, just speaking to needing a therapist, they need particular PK therapists. I think someone should train in this area of study, because when I was a little kid, I literally believed that if I like snuck a piece of candy or something, God would literally tell my father. No one told me that. Like, I just literally believed that. And the craziness of a child's mind where you're just like, I better be good all the time, everywhere. Or my dad, who literally is 2,000 miles away, is going to find out. So that was weird as a little kid. And then as a teenager, it was like those perfect, awkward teenage years, then going into being the first family and feeling like everybody's watching me. You have to set the example for the other kids. You have to be the smartest, the perfect, the most well-read or whatever. And I was always kind of a quieter, kind of shy kid. So feeling that thing of like, you're on a platform now, like you have to behave and look a certain way. And I just was never that kid. So again, it was that internal thing of like, I better not yawn during church or like someone will see that I yawned, until I got to the point where I just sat in the back and kikied with the ushers.
Because really, the ushers have all the tea to all the services.
Yep.
They know everyone's business, and it pays to be close to the ushers.
Yes.
They have all the church candy, like you're literally set. I absolutely love that. Okay, so literally grew up in church. As you got older, you started going through discovery. Um, when did you know, like, uh, I'm not really into like this musical part. I'm not really into this preaching part, but I think I have talents that need to be explored elsewhere. Was it later on when you became a woman that you started exploring and tapping into that?
Very early. I always wanted to be an actor my entire life. I never thought about doing anything else. Even when my parents would be like, a lawyer gets to talk to people, like they would really try to encourage me in other areas. And I did do music, but my younger brother was much, much better than me at it. So I was like, well, I'm not going to be the best at that. That was out the door immediately. He was an incredible musician from literally kindergarten. So that was all I ever wanted to do. I never considered working in the church. Like it just wasn't a thing for me. A lot of people did see that for me. Like traveling ministers would come and be like, this child is going to be a prophet. And I'd be like, she's not. She surely is not.
Wrong. Like, why is it? Like, can we just pause and talk about that? Because why is it because we're young, they like to tell us like the life sentence and we like, do we not have a say? Like, I just really wanted to I wanted to test this. Like, why do I want it to be like, it traumatizes you because you be like, you're trying to navigate like, God, is that what I'm really here for? Like, do I have a say in the matter?
But I think what they're identifying is even as a little kid, I always had something to say. Like if I felt like something wasn't right or the way it should be, or if I just questioned, I always did. And our parents really encouraged that, I think more than a lot of church parents. So I think what they were recognizing is like, oh, this is a kid who will have a platform and who will speak from a platform. It's just in a different way. But I think my parents, more so than most, were very much allowed us to question, to speak up, obviously respectfully, of course. So we were just like very outspoken from a young age, I think.
I love that. I knew from literally when every time we would come down to, visit, I'm like, she's super smart and she could say a lot of stuff that I can't say. Like, what's tea? Because y'all don't let me dialogue. Like, what is it? Is it an LA thing? Like, it's because I haven't reached that age yet. Like, when I get a little longer, I'll be able to talk a little more. Like, nope. But I love that because a lot of PKs didn't have, healthy dialogue. And it's so important that that's a thing that we highlight because being able to have healthy dialogue with your parents at a young age can help save a lot of time as you're navigating adulthood, the real world, going out, being able to talk to people, being able to, read people and understand different personality types, like without the fear and the timidity. Because I felt like I was very timid for a long time. I was always loud. I was always like, but I was timid and bashful because it wasn't encouraged to have healthy dialogues like that. You know what I mean? So shout out to the parentals.
It's so funny. Like the grass is always greener because to my eyes, I was like, oh, they're the perfect church kids. Like I can never quite like get the outfit together or the look together, whatever, but they have it. Like you're the perfect church daughter. So it's very funny that we're, looking at it from the other sides. But my mom always said, like, I'm not raising children, I'm raising adults. So even from a young age, I was like, when you're an adult, you're going to need to be able to speak up for yourself. You're going to need to be able to advocate for yourself, whatever it is. So they started allowing us to do that from a very young age. But again, like I said, my dad wasn't the pastor, right? My grandfather was. So that's how we
Mm-hmm.
were raised.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're in this new role and it's like, well, now you're supposed to sit and be quiet. And it's like, oh, it's too late for that. Like she has a voice.
Na, 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 na. I absolutely love that. And that's so funny that we're literally like looking at each other like grass is greener because, child, I was like, I literally only have this one black church skirt that I'm gonna wear for every church visitation because I feel like it makes me look like a grown up. And this is the only skirt that had a slit on the side because I always want to look a little older than what I am
Mhm.
because the musician boys are cute. And I had been crushing on Jay Black. Like, I'm like, I get to see my people, you know? I'm like, literally, I'm regular degular, you know? That's amazing. Okay, so you knew from early on you wanted to act. As you navigated young womanhood, you turn 18, you decide, all right, cool, I'm going after this. Like, obviously, you had supportive parents. Like, they literally were like never not supportive. I know that for a fact.
Well, yes and no. Yes, yes. I mean, they're always supportive as being like emotionally supportive, parents, but they really wanted me to do something more practical. And again, out of practicality, not out of not being supported, but like at that time, if you were to look at television, there wasn't anyone who looked like me that you could point at and be like, oh, that's a clear path for you. So they really were like, can't you find anything that would provide some stability, especially with my dad coming out of the music industry and having all the experiences he had, and he knew how hard it was and how it beats you down. So they really wanted me to do something more practical. And like I tried to, I went to grad school, hated every moment of it, but really was like searching for that stability that they had like taught to me. And then like come to find out that like nothing is stable. So it was like,
Doesn't
if
matter the industry.
like the economy being what it is, you can lose your job. Like you could be you could do everything exactly right and it can fall apart at any moment anyway. So it's like, I might as well enjoy what I'm doing in the meantime. And so I sort of stopped chasing after that and went full time into what I wanted to do, which was comedy. And I have been very, very blessed to find a level of stability there. But I kind of got there a little late because my parents really were hoping that I would go in a different direction.
Honestly, I feel like you got there right on time because the timing was so perfect for all of the projects that you have worked on. What was your first project where you were like, where you had your aha moment of like, I'm really doing what I love to do? Because sometimes we could be doing it, but it doesn't feel fulfilling at the moment because we haven't found our footing or we don't feel like comfortable in the industry or in the field yet. So was there a particular project where you felt like, ah, I can breathe, like I'm here?
Well, to you saying the timing is so right because I was, late by whatever industry standards. But then when I really started focusing on trying to get a job in TV, the first job I got was Full Frontal with Sam B, which hadn't been on the air before, and there hadn't been a female late night host on the air in decades. So when I got that packet, which is basically you write like a sample episode of the show and you submit it blind without your name on it so they can really pick people based off of, the best jokes. But there was no show to watch to like know what to write. So when they wrote their description of what the show would be, I was like, this is me. Like nobody can execute this better than me. And I had been knocking on the door, like wanting to get in there for a while, but that was like the first time that I was like, this is mine. And so it was the perfect timing because the platform that was right for me literally didn't exist until I was ready to step onto it. So it was really like really fortuitous.
I love that. Oh my God. I absolutely love that. And now, Emmy Award winning. Like, can we just talk about it? Because we have to have this moment. Like, that's huge. That's major. Like, because if you really think about it, like, you having to go to grad school, take classes, right? Because we want to appease our parents, because we want to make them happy. We want to do practical fields because we want to be obedient. But we're also feeling the internal nudging of this isn't purpose and I want to do something else. Like, all of the discomforts of the journey, I'm sure the Emmy moment made it worth it. Like, how was that for you?
I think just getting the job made it worth it because I had gone to grad school. I had extra knowledges that most comedians don't have when you're writing about politics and trying to write persuasive pieces and all of this. So it's like all of the pieces fit together really well in that first job. And then we were really lucky that we won. It's either the second year of that show. So my second year working in television ever, I won an Emmy. Most people, well, you can have an amazing, incredible $1 billion career and never win an Emmy. So it was incredible, but it was also like, I think this is a PK thing too. I'm the type of person that if I'm going to do something, I want to hit a certain height with it. Like my mom would always say, I don't make average children. Like if you're going to do it, you better do it. And so it felt really lucky that we won so early in my career, because then it's like, okay, I can relax a little bit and have the space to have fun and experiment and play and fight, because it'll always say, Emmy Award winning next to my name,
Always.
from very early in my career. So that's like, yes, very, very lucky. And then allowed me to maybe let a little bit of that perfectionism go in my career going
That
forward.
is absolutely the hand of God. Like,
Mhm.
no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, when you are literally in purpose, like, God will literally put his super on our natural and redeem the time to where your second year in television, Emmy Award winning. Like, that is epic. Not a lot of people can say that. And that is
Yeah.
amazing.
And by the way, when you're not in purpose, he will make your life so uncomfortable. And we actually put this joke in Bad Monkey, another show I worked on, where a character's mom tells her, God wouldn't have to yell at you if you would listen the first time, because I was so uncomfortable and I stayed in grad school knowing I wasn't supposed to be there and just let it get so uncomfortable, so uncomfortable, so uncomfortable. And the second I stepped out, immediate reward.
Let's just keep it a buck. He'll make your life a living hell. It'll be hell. Like, yeah. And I think a lot of times the reason people stay in the uncomfortable era is because the fear of the unknown. Like the fear of taking the leap, the fear of pivoting to do it. Like, cuz they want to know all of the steps, like me included. Like, okay, God, you telling me to do this podcast, and I'm just trying to figure out what Chat GPT telling me to do. Like, how's this gonna make sense? Like the math thing, I don't know nothing, nothing about this. I just know it's a calling, and you're tugging me towards this, but I don't know the end. So I'm just gonna say yes and see what happens, right? And we get caught up in the not knowing how it's gonna pan out. And so we rather stay in the uncomfortability of something that's literally killing us, draining us, instead of taking the leap and seeing, like, oh, wait, there's more. And I think that's something that we all like have in common. Okay, so you are now Emmy Award winning. You're still writing for television. Okay, so what or which role, because you're not just acting, you're writing, you're producing. Which role, though, would you say is like, I don't want to use the word favorite, but one that you're more passionate about? Is there one that you're more passionate about than the other, or as long as it's in TV, it doesn't really matter the hat as long as you're passionate about it?
Um, my favorite is doing all of them. Is being able to see something truly from beginning to end, from an idea to, editing after it's been shot, like being able to make sure every single moment of it is right and is telling the story. And so I really like to be able to do it all. I always say, like, acting is like huge peaks and valleys. Like you'll have some of the best moments of your life on set, connected with your scene partner, like killing it, really making people laugh. That's the best feeling you'll ever have. But then every day is the worst feeling you ever have, is you're trying to get auditions, not getting the call back, not getting the part. When you do book a job, the first thing someone asks you is to send your measurements to them. Like, how many jobs you get a job at the bank, and the first day they're like, and so how big is
Like,
your
what?
waist? Like, Acting is crazy. It's crazy making. Whereas writing is like much more even. Like the highs are not as high, the lows are not as low. It's when there's a problem, it's like I know the answer will come. It's just a question of like when. So I like being able to go back and forth and do both because they're like such different experiences. But the thing that I'm passionate about is like making people laugh. And I will do that in whatever capacity, like to the point where I'm sending text messages and I'm like, girl, why are you editing this text message to make it the funniest version? Like, just say what time you're going to be at the restaurant. Like,
It's just you're passionate about it, so you
but it's
can't
just
turn it
like,
off. I love that.
yeah.
And obviously, that hit the screen in a black lady sketch show, sketch comedy, because honestly, that was crazy. Sketch comedy, I said, wow, the writing, the acting. Ashley, I was like, oh, y'all did y'all big one with this one. Like, literally, T. You know what I mean? What do you feel like is the issue? And maybe I'm making it an issue, but when it comes to writing more faith based shows or faith based movies, I feel like if it's not Tyler Perry writing something talking about some Christina is gone, like, or something that leads to like some kind of altar call, like that cannot be the standard, right? But why do you feel like there's not a lot of uplifting or just comedic shows that are from a faith based perspective?
Yeah, I think there's like two different issues. One on like the mainstream industry side, people are afraid of it. They're afraid to offend people. And really interesting thing I learned when I started working in this business is that like when you say Christian, people automatically picture conservative white Christian. Like all those words go
Got you.
together for
Wow.
them. And so those are the people who you don't want to piss off. They're
Yeah.
very vocal.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's not worth making stuff if they're going to look at it more and then, boycott you or protest you or whatever. So like that fear definitely exists. Put that to the side. The other thing is like, I think there's this. So because then it's not being made by the mainstream places, it gets siloed off into these specialty things where there's a desire to like not have conflict. And the idea of a story is conflict, right? A character wakes up and they know giving reality, a conflict happens. They deal with it for the majority of the piece, and then either they resolve it or they don't. But conflict has to be part of it. People have to make the wrong choice before they make the right choice. People have to be antagonists or villains in each other's story. That's how real life works. That's what people expect to see. And I think as soon as you go to like a faith thing, then people don't want to have those parts of it, but that's what a story is. So I
It's
think,
all throughout the Bible.
yeah, but also
Yeah.
life,
It's like,
right?
yeah.
Like when you are living life, you have hard days, you have easy days, you make mistakes, you do stuff that you knew was going to be a mistake before you did it. All of these things are a part of life, but then we try to take them out of the story and there just is no story. And then it feels kind of like, um, light, and people aren't as interested in it, people aren't as compelled by it, and it's like, why isn't it as successful as this action movie where they're beating each other up and all this stuff? And it's like, well, because that is exciting and conflict, and there's no reason why you couldn't have that and have a message of like, be a better person or whatever at the end. But for some reason, as soon as you start saying faith, you take all of the like fun out of it, basically.
Wow. That's very, I didn't even think about it until you started saying it. Like, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Like, for whatever reason, when we hear the word faith, like, we assume no conflict, like, when that's literally our daily bread. Like, it's conflict
Yes.
on every side. Like, I've had some good days, I've had some hills to climb. When is climbing a hill conflict free? Like, somebody tell me.
Yes. So climbing a hill is act two. Act two of every story is having a hill to climb.
It has to happen. I'm literally like, what? But that makes a lot of sense. So, what advice? Okay, so I'm pivoting because I know there's a lot more writers now and people who want to get into the industry. What advice would you give writers who's looking to do more, positive content, but to not lose heart? What advice would you give them?
I think that a lot of times people look at an end product and go, I want to make that, or this is what they want to buy right now. Like recently, there were so many Marvel movies. So I could see someone being like, well, I'm going to write a movie like that. The problem is things move so fast and writing is so slow. It takes a long time to write something good, that by the time your script is finished, that trend will have moved on. So there's no point in trying to chase a trend or do something you've seen before. I think if you are being 100% true to yourself, telling your story that makes your friends laugh at dinner every time you tell it, whatever that thing is, it will feel real and true. And even if it doesn't get made, it'll be a calling card for you that will make people want to know you. So I think trying to put it so much into a category can sometimes run you into trouble, because then by the time you get to market with it, it's like, oh, we're not doing sci-fi right now. We're not doing faith-based right now, like whatever it is. And so if it's more so, this is an expression of me as a person, this is what I want to put out into the world, this is what I think is funny, this is a message that I think is untold, I think that that has more of a chance of success, even if it's not that individual script being successful, but of you being successful. I worked with this director one time who gave us the advice that now I tell people all the time: get fired as soon as you can. And what he was saying was, we have the Second City Theater, and usually there they'll hire people to do a show, and people will do two, maybe three shows, but no one does like 10. Like it's a short moment in your career, and it's meant to be. So he was like, if you are trying to give them what they want and trying to play so quiet and so safe or whatever so that you don't get fired, so they don't find out what a weird freak you are and fire you, you're not doing a good job anyway, because you're playing it safe, and that's not funny. So you should try to get fired as soon as you can. Show them exactly who you are. And if they don't want it, find that out day one and leave and go find someone who does. And so that's what I think of when thinking about, like, oh, which project do I pursue? Is it the one that seems safe or seems like it would sell or whatever? Or is it the one that someone's going to read and go, absolutely not, this chick is crazy, but someone's going to read and go, yes, I've never seen that before. That is very interesting to me.
That's good. That's really, really, really good advice. Thank you for sharing that. Someone's going to be encouraged and motivated just by hearing that advice, because sometimes it's just overwhelming. You don't know where to start. You could feel overwhelmed just by the type of content that you want to release, like you said. So you just kind of don't do. You know what I mean? And we're living in a time where so many people are creative and AI is taking over, and so many people are in a hurry to do things so fast that they're not trusting the process. I think that is incredible advice. Okay, so I have to talk about my Uncle John Black, and I have to talk about all the things that he was, and him passing away, and how that has literally been crazy. If I miss him, I already know you miss him, right? And I don't want to make this a selfish moment, but let me have my selfish moment, okay? Christmas wasn't the same as Nisi Poo, because when I tell you Uncle John would call us every holiday, he was on the phone with us, wishing us Merry Christmas, asking us who was I dating, who was he gonna have to beat up, like trying to make sure Lamar ain't having no more kids, because he's literally trying to make sure you and Lamar get married some kind of way when y'all are both literally like, what? Ew. He was the uncle that literally checked on us routinely, and it is literally not the same without him. And I just want to ask you, number one, how are you doing? And number two, how has your craft changed since his passing? Has that fueled you? Do you feel closer to him? I'm just curious as to, like, how has life as an actress and a writer shifted with his absence?
I'll say to both of those, I'm still figuring that out. And I sat down today, I was like, I'm getting through this podcast without crying. So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
also,
sorry.
it's so funny because you saying that, so many people have said that to me that we didn't even know. Like people in Kansas go, oh, that's my Uncle John. We've never met this person. He had people who he did that to all over the country. And so it's like incredible to see that legacy and that impact, and the musicians who go, oh, I can only do this because, your dad taught me how to do that. And it's like really a portrait of like a life well lived, that people feel that way. But then also the like, oh yeah, I wasn't aware of so much of this person's life, which I think is true for a parent, because you're a child and they're an adult. So why would I know, like his friend who preached his service, that was our first time meeting him. I knew that they were very good friends because they would always be on the phone. But I had never actually met him. And his voice, his cadence sounds so much like my dad that I was like, oh, you guys were best friends. Like you guys had merged into one preaching style.
One preaching style is crazy, but it happens. It definitely happens.
But I knew that at the end of his life, my dad was very peaceful. Like he knew where he was going. He knew that he had done what he wanted to do. And so I think now I'm evaluating my life, trying to be like, what would allow me to go that way, if that makes
What
sense.
would bring you peace? What would give you that center? And that's such a hard question because we're still young and we're still navigating like what life is and what makes us happy and all the things. So to think about what will make me peaceful is a heavy question, but to know.
But it's very easy to get on the train of like, well, this is the next thing after this is the next thing after that, and doing it because it's time to do it or it's the next thing or someone has asked you to, and not thinking, where do I want to end up at the end of this? And of course, you don't think like that every day, but like you can put one foot in front of the, like I started working in television 10 years ago. This is year 10. When I realized that, I was like, oh my gosh, it's year 10. Like, where did the time go? Because you're kind of just going from one thing to the other. And I'm very happy with how I've spent the last 10 years. But it's like, um, I think when you're younger, you're like striving and you're so ambitious and you are striving for any opportunity you can find. And then when you're a little older, it's like, okay, what do I want to do? Not what do I want someone to allow me to do, or um, what I'm begging for entry. It's like, what do I actually want? And I think I'm figuring that out. One detail of a thing of my career was that I would always talk to my dad before I went to set, and he would be like, knock him dead, kill him, just get in there and just kill him. Like he'd give me a really violent pep talk. And so the first time I went to set, after he passed, I was like, gosh, I really don't know how I'm going to get through this day. And I walked into the hair and makeup trailer and they were playing the Gap Band.
Oh, that's perfect. I love that. Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, I don't have to do it without him.
That's perfect. Oh, that makes me. Okay. Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. Because he's so legendary, man. Like, I don't know a kinder soul who loved God more and loved his family. You know what I mean? For everybody to have that same sentiment, it's just like, well done, John Black. Well done. I love that.
And when you've created that, we do have music we can listen to, and someone even sent us a song he was playing on that we hadn't previously known about, so we're still discovering things. And all his old sermons, are all written down. It's like, oh, when you create, you do leave people with something. So again, it's like, as a creative, what do you want that body of work to be?
That's good. That's really good. And I guess I didn't really think about it from a preacher's perspective because you're right. Sermons are written down. It's not all by memory. So that is a form of still legacy. You know what I mean? Legacy for pastors and PKs doesn't have to look like me taking over your life's work and becoming a pastor and a preacher. Legacy can be me being able to revert back to something and being like, man, I can hear you saying this, or I remember hearing you say this, or I needed this and this still lives on by the message and the music I can play.
Oh, and we would joke around in the house, and like he had a few like signature sermons that he did a lot. So we would do them. Like we have them memorized. So we would like be doing them in the kitchen.
Don't we all like, I feel like that's another thing, like that's another PK-ism. There are the signature sermons that we know by heart because we heard it at every visitation on the road. that nobody knows that you've preached it before. That's the point. Nobody's supposed to know that we've heard it all over the road. But we know. And we have to sit there and say amen again at all the parts like we're hearing it for the first time. That's crazy, but I absolutely love that. And I'm glad that it is still well. You know what I mean? You don't have the answers because you have to take it day by day. You know what I mean? But ultimately, we know that he's in a better place. And we just love that man. We absolutely love that man. Okay, I have to pivot again because I want to play a game with you. Now, this is going to reach down into your church roots, okay? I had to throw it back to the early 2000s with this one. This is like this or that, okay? You tell me if it's this'n or if it's that, like what do you have on it? And we'll go from there. Now, are you ready? Now, don't overthink it, okay? Just the first thing that comes to your mind. All right, so I'm like laughing already thinking about it. Okay, church pews or individual chairs?
Pews.
Ooh, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, walk around for offering or pass the plate?
Oh, I think walk around. I think that's just what I'm used to.
It's a fashion show. I feel like we show off our outfits.
Yeah.
First names or titles?
We were a first name family, and that did rub some people the wrong way. But I think because my mom is the youngest of five, so our first cousins were adults when we were children. But they're your cousin. You call your cousin by your first name. So I think we just called everybody by their first name. But certainly some people were not pleased with us little bougie kids.
Hello, John. Deacon John to you. School dances or church visitations?
School dances.
Okay. Vacation Bible school or summer camp?
Ooh, maybe vacation Bible school. Because I feel like summer camp was hit or miss. I went to some good ones, I went to some bad ones, but vacation Bible school, literally, you're always with your friends.
True. Okay. Trick or treating or a hallelujah night?
Okay, so when we talk about that transition to my dad becoming a pastor, we celebrated Halloween our whole childhood. And then when he became a pastor, it was, y'all can't do Halloween no more. And we were like, what? And like tried
I did not know that.
yes, they like tried to make it cute and like, oh, watch movies at the house or whatever. And I was like, this is crazy.
You're like, this is not the same.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh, yeah.
was
I would have
also-
been traumatized.
You can't read Harry Potter anymore because that was that era. And my mom put her foot down on that one. She was like, any child that wants to read a book can read the book. I don't care what book it is.
As long as they're reading,
Yes.
it doesn't matter. I am screaming. Okay. That is funny. Church picnics or like family reunions?
Family reunions. We were not big fans of church food. I think
Y'all didn't like cake and punch?
everyone in our church actually could cook, but there's just a comfort to having been in someone's kitchen when you eat their food.
We were not a fan of church food is the greatest thing I've heard all day because
I'll speak for myself. I will say I was not. I won't speak for my siblings.
no, but it's true because why was church food cake and punch like at pretty much every visitation, and why is it a sheet cake and super concentrated fruit punch and or it smells like fish or a cookout because the smell is coming up from the fellowship hall, so you know you about to just have fried chicken. Like, ugh, Lord. Okay, youth takeover service or children's church?
We never had children's church. We never had children's church growing up because I think my dad and my grandpa believed that kids should get the same message. I think they may have had it when I was too old for it briefly, but we never had it.
I love that. Okay, church plays or Broadway shows?
Well, I think one is a stepping stone to the other.
It is. It literally is.
I really do think like having to memorize those poems or whatever, which I hated as a kid. But then when I did start acting, it does just give you that like head start of like, I know how to memorize, I know how to project, I know how to speak in front of a group of people, even though I did not enjoy it at the time at all.
Okay, and lastly, sleep over with friends or shut in at church?
um, Sleepover with friends. We also never did the shut in. I knew that other churches did it, but we never did.
Okay, I'm jealous. I at this point, my spidey senses were right. You guys got to dialogue. You had a say. You didn't have to do the church shut-ins. You got to do Halloween. I am just really over here lacking in my childhood experience. I was over here dressed as an angel with a sheet thrown over me, with a halo wrapped around my head, and I can only go to the heaven and hell party at church. And you bet not want to go to the hell side because you're gonna get in trouble when you get home. Because why do you want to go to hell? I'm like, I just want the Doritos on the hell side because that's my favorite snack. Oh, I'm still traumatized.
That's how he gets you. That's how he gets you. But you know, my dad was in the Gap Band. So my dad couldn't pretend that he had been holier than thou his whole life. He had lived a life. So there was sort of no point in trying to convince us that like the real world didn't exist. So my parents just didn't do those things. Like, you know, my mom's thing of like, I'm raising adults, like you are going to listen to this message and get from it what you can. You can go to school dances or do whatever, and you know what the rules are in this house and how we expect you to behave. And if you don't, you will experience the consequences. They were very much teaching us to be very independent.
Shout out to Mama Angie. We love her. And she has the best hair still in the game to this day.
Yep.
I mean, natural hair, she is the poster child. Okay. Okay. We love her.
The first to go natural. They talked about my mama like she was crazy.
Now everybody wants it.
Yep.
Literally, her natural hair, the poster child, literally iconic. Okay. We have to wrap this up because you are literally on set right now,
Literally at work.
writing
Yep.
and at work. What do you have upcoming? What can we expect from you? What upcoming shows? What is in the works? Let us know.
Well, we are finishing right now season 3 of Shrinking, so that'll be out soon, probably early next year. And watch this space as we talk about projects dealing with faith and legacy and all of that. I'm working on something, so watch this space.
I'm excited about that. You know, I'm like, ooh, tea time. I'm super excited about that. And just for kicks and giggles, because I want to have more tea time, are we dating?
I'm trying to, girl. Los Angeles is the pit. I see you every time I look at your Instagram, you're somewhere else. I'm like, that's what I need to start doing. I need to get out.
Because it's like LA, they don't they don't want to be aggressive here. They want us to do all the work. It's too much work. It's like, let me go somewhere else and get some attention. But I need LA to do better because I love LA. I love it here. I love home. I love being here and I want the person to be here. So I need them to get with the program.
And when they are aggressive, it's, can you read my script? It's like, that's not what I'm here for.
Holy moly. I cannot stand a transactional man.
And LA is, not just men and women, LA is full of that.
Yeah, very transactional. And it's the land of dreams. So that's how people lead here. Very transactional. Okay, so we're on the same page. Got it. I was just hoping that somebody else would have a little bit more joy going on. But we're in the same dating pool.
You're about to go start spending summers in Atlanta or something. I don't know.
We're going to have to go elsewhere. Ashley, it was a pleasure having you on the PK Pod. Tell the people where they can follow you to stay connected.
I'm on Instagram at AshNB1. I was a late adopter, got a weird screen name. So find me there.
It's fine. It's fine. You're right on time. We're still going to follow you. We're still going to support you. We are literally rooting for you. We are cheering for you. We are so happy for you literally following purpose and allowing that to lead you to over a decade in the television industry. Like, that is phenomenal. We can't wait to see what's to come because we know it's only going to get bigger and better. And we are cheering you on from all parts of the world. We love you.
And thank you so much for having me. I love telling my story because I'm always like, if I can get somebody to quit grad school a day sooner, then my story will not have been in vain. So thank you so much for having me on.
And save them some money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because these schools be schooling.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, we appreciate you sharing your story with us. And I'm positive that our listeners are encouraged. Somebody is quitting right now. I don't know how that's working out with their parents, but it'll all work out in the end as long as they're following purpose. It's fine.
Work out.
Thank you so much. And until next time, y'all be sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe. Until next time, talk to you soon. If you enjoyed today's episode, we would love for you to stay connected with us on Instagram and TikTok by following us at the PK Pod. We share clips and behind the scenes from episodes like today where you can continue in the conversation. We would love for you guys to be a part of our community by following us at the PK Pod. Until next time, family, have an amazing day.